Everybody, the big thing is, and this is usually just fan speculation in the dirt sheets because they know they're going to get clicks on it. So what they do is they start just uh, irresponsibly just assuming somebody's just going to show up on the other brand with all of this. I'm going to tell you why this isn't going to happen or why it shouldn't happen, and we're going to talk about that here today on today's show and answer your questions with that. But so here's what's going to happen, and this is my opinion with everything with the way everything that went down and why this would be in AEW's best interest to go this route. So if CM Punk essentially with everything was fired for cause and would have potentially it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years, a no compete clause. We don't know what that number is yet with that. I would assume there's something in there with it. Now say it's a 1 year non-compete clause with this. So people are saying, I've heard the different things online, and people are saying, well, he could challenge them and that won't hold up in court. So here's the deal. It doesn't matter with it. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't with it. If they have enough evidence for how he conducted himself and the things that he did, no matter what, the worst thing AEW can to do, in my opinion, is to let him just go freely and then give, like, just say, hey, we just don't want to deal with you. We don't want any legal ramifications. I think that would be a mistake. And why that would is, one, say he potentially does renegotiate and somehow crawls back to WWE with his tail between his legs, and whatever the deal may be, right? With everything. That is going to send the wrong message to everybody else in the company as far as AEW, that, oh, if you just want out of your contracts, act irresponsibly, because it was no known secret. Punk wanted out at some way, and it went to WWE previously, got kicked out backstage, right? With all of this. So what you were doing is you were sending a message that if you act in a certain way, and hey, we'll let you out of your contract. And you, like, no, that's not the thing to do. Plus, you want to be number one. You do not let this guy go over there. What you do is you tie him up in court, which would WWE would do. With this, you make him spend as much money as possible. You delay it as much as possible. You let him get older. You keep him out of wrestling for the rest of his career. You keep that court case going. This is a case where you do this to this individual. You do not let him walk into your company. You give him the entire world and he says, F you. And then you just say, oh, no, we're just going to let you just go do what you want. No. And if they're smart, and I believe they are, and I believe that's why Tony said the things that he said, is I think they will, because Phil is the type of guy who all go to court with it. Let him. You're not going to be wrestling for anyone with any of it. You're going to be 45, 46, 47. You're going to be out of shape because you're not going to be motivated and hungry with all of it, and they're going to drain you with it. But that's what they should do, in my opinion, with it. Or they let the non-compete just go, and if he's smart, he just lets it go the year or two, whatever it is, and then tries to stay in shape before he goes back with it. But if he threatens them legally, I believe they should not back down, and they need to send a clear message to him and other talent that you're not going to act in this manner and get out of your contract and just go run over to the other place or this and that. Because what is going to happen is all this momentum and all this controversy that will carry over as far as if WWE is able to monetize that. You don't want them to be able to do that. You want to keep him out of wrestling with everything. And that's, I believe, if they're smart, that's the route that it's going to go. Super chat. Punk said he'll never work with you again recently. Kevin, I don't even know what you're talking about, nor do I care with any of it. I would say maybe stop listening and reading dirt sheets and talking and everything, and just maybe try to just exist and focus on your life with it. Those of you that consume the dirt sheets and believe them, you guys are the lowest form of humans on the planet. And I'll tell you that to your face all day long.
Question on the thing why CM Punk won't be going to WWE, because they're not going to let him back in. Like, that's just simple as that. Like, if Vince, like, I do agree Vince has a forgiving past to some people, but I think that Punk in general has caused so much trouble that even somebody like Vince doesn't want him around. And I think Triple H and Hunter and Hunter and Steph, and I'm sure they all agree, you know, when they have a pretty decent locker room right now,
Yeah.
where like you don't hear anything like that coming from their locker rooms, and that's another thing which is pretty good, because it's the opposite. And I like AEW and I like Tony Khan, but it's the opposite from them. It's like somebody there is obviously telling people what's going on, because
he's done that his whole career, though. I think he's getting a taste of his own medicine too, with the thing.
Sure.
I talked about it at the beginning of the show, I think, before you got on. But what I think, and I told people, though, AEW, so he would hope he has a non-compete clause with all of this, whether it be a year or 2 years or whatever it is with it. And they were saying, well, that won't hold. Someone was saying that couldn't hold up in court possibly with it. Well, AEW should make an example out of him then. If he tries to do anything legally, they can literally just hold him up in court forever with it and delay it. And he's not going to wrestle for WWE, and let him just get older with it. But if they let him go and say they go, no, we're just going to let you out of your contract after you did all this, and they let him go to WWE, that's the worst thing they could do, though, because now you're telling your wrestlers, well, if you just misbehave and you want out of your deal, you can we're just getting a fight, and then we'll fire you and let you go elsewhere. That's the worst. So they have to make an example out of him, and I believe they will with it, to set the precedent that this isn't going to be tolerated.
Well, he kept saying he was fired with cause.
That was for legal reasons. That was he was doing everything he said was for legal reasons on that.
Is it because he doesn't want to pay him, big guy? Is that why?
I don't know. I don't know the specifics on it. I just know for them to specifically go publicly and state that, is there probably, I'm sure Punk has probably already said, I just know how he is. Like he loves the drama and controversy with all of it. So they're just, I think, protecting themselves. And then, but I think that hopefully they've got a non-compete clause with it. But if he tries to challenge it, what they'll do is they'll do what WWE did. They'll just drag the case out, or they should at least make him, because they have all the money in the world. So this is going to be nothing to them. But just let him get older and keep him out of wrestling and let the buzz die down, like with it, rather than because here's the thing. If he has all this controversy with him now, but say he was able to go back to WWE, and like that momentum, though, people will tune in to see what he's going to do because of all this. Like, you don't want to let this, for whatever reason, if they were able to work out a deal, don't let him take this energy and momentum elsewhere. Let him stay home with it. I think he doesn't keep him out of wrestling with it. That's how he's acted. So that's my opinion. I think it would be a huge mistake to just let him go back and let him try to. I just don't see that WWE, the people I know, and like, he was not liked. Like, so